Hi again, in this lecture we are going to implement the sign up screen so that when the user enters the username and the password and then click submit, these data are going to be stored in a users.json file, which I have it in here. So you can either create an empty file and call it like users.json, or you can get my file, which you can find attached in the lecture resources. And in this file I already have two users. These are JSON data. To make it look better, you can format it using, if you're on Windows, use Shift Alt F. If you're on Mac, use Shift Option F. If you're on Linux, use Control Shift I. So when you do that combination, what's going to happen is you're going to have the JSON code formatted like this. So the idea here is that the app is going to add more users in here when the user presses that submit button in the sign up page. So this is basically like a big Python dictionary. It starts here and it ends here. And this dictionary has values like this key here, and the value of that first key, so that's the key of the big dictionary. The value of this key is this dictionary. So it's another dictionary inside the big dictionary, but that's another problem. It can happen, like in this case. And so this dictionary has the data. So the username is again user1, like this. The password is password1. So this is an existing user. I manually created this file, but the program will be able to also create this file and to add more users. And so here's where this value of this key ends. And then starts the other key, the other user, user2. That's the username. You can also see here, password2. And this is a date that this username was inserted in the JSON file. Let's keep this file open down here. Squeeze the terminal space. And so the user presses the submit button. The submit button calls the add user function, and these two arguments are passed to the function call. So add user is this one in here. So uname p words. What are we going to do with these two values that the user entered in the text boxes? Well, what I'll do is, first of all, I'll open the users.json file as file and get the users loaded in a dictionary. So users equal to json.load. We need to import JSON here. So JSON is a library. And now, just as an intermediate step, let's print out the users to see what we've got so far. Sign up, u1, p1, submit, and this is what we get. So that's what we currently have in the JSON file. And this is actually, so users is a Python dictionary. Now what we can do to this dictionary is we can add another value. So another pair of key and value, which is pretty easy to do. So we say users. What key do we need to add? Well, we get that from uname. So we are going to add the u1 username that I entered as a user. So we're going to have a third username there. That will be, its value is going to be a dictionary. So just like we have for user1 this dictionary, we are going to have for u1 this dictionary as well. So username for key, the username will be again uname. And then password is going to be p word. p-word. So we are here p-word, which is going to get the value p1. And then, since we don't have much more space here, I'm going to put a comma to continue the expression in a different line. If you feel a line is too long, you can split that line in multiple lines only if the line is inside parentheses, such as in the case of a function definition, or brackets, such as in the case of a list, or braces, such as in the case of a dictionary. In all three cases, the code will work just fine. You cannot split a line that doesn't have parentheses, brackets, or braces. If you try to do that, you're going to get a syntax error unless you use a backslash. A backslash allows you to split an expression in multiple lines, even when that expression is not inside parentheses, brackets, or braces. Splitting an expression into multiple lines makes for a more readable code. It is recommended to split an expression when it has reached 79 characters. However, this is just a recommendation, it doesn't have any effect in the code. So next, what is next? Well, created, the key created. The value of that is going to be datetime dot. Now, let's import datetime first. From datetime, import datetime. So the datetime class of the datetime module. So this is the datetime class that I imported in here. Datetime.now. I can show you what I'm trying to get here. So from datetime, import datetime. Datetime.now will give you this datetime object, and what we want from that is we want to extract a string. We want to get the year, the month, the day, hours, minutes, and seconds. So that is going to give us the date time in this string format. So this is going to go in here. Right, and that's it. Now let me print users again down here. And close this previous window. Sign up, U1, P1, submit. And you can see now that we have another pair of key and value. So the U1 username with username U1, password P1, and created this very moment in time. So what can we do with this new dictionary now? Well, nothing fancy. We just need to open users.json, but this time in write mode as file, and we access JSON, the JSON module, dump the users dictionary to the file, and that's it. So what I'm doing at this point, I'm overwriting the users, the existing users.json file. So a completely new file is going to be created at this point, empty file. And in this empty file, I'm going to write the new users dictionary, which will be this one in here. So the new dictionary will include the existing users, as you saw in here, user 1 and user 2, and it will also add the current user. So I hope that is clear. You know, if we test this now, interrupt the current session with Ctrl+C, execute the code, sign up, U1, P1, submit. So I press the submit button and nothing happens now because everything is happening on the background. So the user has, the file has been updated. Now, if you look at the users.json file, you will see that there's currently a bug with Visual Studio Code and that it doesn't auto-refresh the files when they are updated. I hope this will be solved soon by the Visual Studio Code developers. This issue has been reported, but anyway, what we can do is you can go to the File Explorer in your operating system where you have these files, and you can use an alternative text editor such as Notepad. I have Atom here, TextEdit. So choose any of them, and you'll see that in the other editor the changes have been recorded in the users.json file. So you can see that U1 is there, so username U1, password P1, and the date it was created. And that is how you add a new user to the JSON file. And so lastly, what we need to add here, because you see that when you press submit, nothing happens, you don't realize if you were successfully registered as a user or not. So in the other lecture, let's create another screen that will show when the user presses the submit button. See you.